for the 2020 season for TSM, we have Broken Blade, Dardoch, Bjergsen, Kabe from EU, and Biofrost. And when I look at this team, it's kind of funny to say that TSM would be a dark horse, but I actually think if you look in contrast from their 2019 on paper to their 2020 on paper, you would say, with a 2019 mindset, that the 2019 paper looks better. But with the knowledge that we have of just the players themselves and their current state and form, I think actually this team is looking pretty decent, but they have a lot to prove itself. Because, of course, we have Broken Blade in the top lane, who didn't have the best summer split. And he was kind of on a downward trend. He didn't look that impressive, and he looked incredibly impressive in the spring split, which is great. But whenever you see someone kind of downtrending as a rookie, that's kind of a bad sign. But that is with an asterisk, I guess, because there was a lot of shit going on in the jungle too, right? With switching junglers all the time and just shit going haywire within TSM. So I kind of give Broken Blade a pass. I mean, the problems that he had within Summer Split was that he just wasn't drawing any pressure away from any of the other lanes or creating his own advantages to the extent that TSM needed, right? They needed someone to step up, and Broken Blade could have been that guy, right? Especially looking at his spring split performance. He could have been that guy, but he clearly wasn't. So I'm not saying that he's going to perform poorly. Hopefully he doesn't. But there is that lurking within the background that he could. And the problem with a lot of people when they move over to a new region, of course, is because you saw them perform well within a specific meta, and then that meta is very similar to the one in which, they're going to be playing for that split, that you signed them for. So now it's an entirely different year, and we're going to see Broken Blade in an entirely different new environment. So hopefully he bounces back from this. I think with that asterisk of the junglers, I give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think that TSM holding on to him is probably the smarter move, just because of that entire debacle wasn't fair to him. So now we're going with Dardoch, which is, dude, that's so fucking weird to say that Dardoch is on TSM. Like, no one, this was the last fucking jungler that anyone expected to join TSM, aside from Meteos as well too. A lot of people didn't expect him, but Dardoch definitely the fucking guy. That it's funny because everyone's saying, okay, well, this is the time, this time is different for Dardoch. This time is different for Dardoch. CLG, this time is different for Dardoch. And all that shit didn't work out. So it's funny that we still ride with this consistent narrative that this is the time for Dardoch. I'm fucking tired of saying that. And so I've also heard that he wasn't trying in Academy, so people were kind of confused as to why he would get a chance now. But I mean, look, I don't watch Academy, so I don't really even give a fuck. So I can't really blame him. And it's funny that these people saying that, oh, well, he wasn't trying in Academy, are some of the same fucking people that also cry wolf when players say, well, scrim environment isn't the same as on stage environment. You can't replicate the two environments. So it's fucked up to judge someone on scrims versus on stage. So, people just should hold their reservations when it comes to that. It's like, yeah, well, you know what? Fuck you if you're trying to judge Dardoch for the same instances. Anyways, so, okay, no, but this time it's serious. Like, Dardoch clearly has the skill, right? He clearly has the mechanical skill, even macro skill. Everyone knows that, but I still have concerns he'll be able to play with a player like Bjergsen. Now, if your excuse is that you need to play with the absolute best player in the entire region in order to take things seriously, then you've proven throughout the entire time that you don't even deserve to play with that player. Clearly, Dardoch doesn't deserve to play with Bjergsen, and it's kind of fucked up that he's given the chance to even do this. But, okay, whatever. It's Dardoch. He is pretty fucking skilled. So now it's his time to actually coagulate with someone who he agrees is one of the best players in the entire region. So if he can't do it now, then he's never going to be able to do it. And this is probably his last fucking chance. And I think actually with this team setup, I think Dardoch is in a point of, point to carry the entire team. And this gives him the ability to actually do what he wants to do, aside from maybe getting a couple tips of what he should do from Bjergsen's point of view, right? So Bjergsen, on the other hand, it's funny to say that I think this has been his first year, at least for 2019, where he didn't look spectacular, right? And that's really weird to say of Bjergsen. He's always been, a number one, if not number two. God forbid, right, that he's worse than fucking Jensen, a split. But so he didn't look spectacular last year. And this was especially true during the summer. So I don't expect this to hold true going into the 2019 season. I have no doubt that he'll come back and at bare minimum be a top 2 mid laner. I just think with his jungle situation and with his own mindset and his own skill set, he's clearly capable of coming back to the top very easily. So I don't think we're going to have a problem in the mid lane when it comes to TSM. It's mostly riding on, of course, if the jungler is able to help him out, which I think is a high likelihood too. Then, of course, we have Kabe and Biofrost in the bot lane. Now, I think this is actually a really good duo when just looking at it stylistically. I mean, Kabe is supposed to be this very consistent player that's not overly aggro. And then you have Biofrost. He's kind of the same player, maybe a little bit more aggressive, but at the end of the day, this is a very stable bot lane, if not the most stable bot lane in the entire league. So I think Biofrost was this extremely good pickup to match with Kabe, and I think this will be one of the kind of hidden shining points, or I guess, matte point? That's not very shiny. I don't know what the fuck you call a non-shiny point. But they're going to be pretty good, and they're going to be able to be a stable bot lane that allows everyone else to shine, I guess you could say, right? And this was a really good pickup when you figure in consideration of the trade for Smoothie, because then you have Dardoch coming in. And I believe they did that support trade before Dardoch was even considered to being brought on the team, right? Supposedly they were going to get Xmithy, but that fell through, right? So it becomes this situation to where now you have even less of a strong voice, someone who doesn't have as strong of a voice as Smoothie, and you have someone whose Biofrost is more reserved, and you have someone who's stronger with Dardoch. So I think at minimum or at maximum, you should really only have 2 very strong voices on your team, just as a League of Legends 101 team structuring or team building. And TSM have done this as Hapstens. So I think overall this team is definitely a lineup that can play through both Bjergsen and Dardoch, which is just completely perfect because that's something that Dardoch wants, and that's clearly something that Bjergsen wants as well too. So this is just kind of a weird match made in heaven, something that you wouldn't think would have panned out the way that it did, but it has. And the only problems that I see with this entire lineup is getting wins if top lane collapses and if mid jungle don't get a lead. And as I said, if Broken Blade doesn't perform as badly as he did in the summer split or the trail end of the summer split, and he doesn't even have to perform as well as he did in the spring split, especially because in the spring split, of course, he was getting all those resources. So if Dardoch is willing to give resources towards Broken Blade, then we might actually see a better Broken Blade anyways. So I think there's that case. And then it's just very unlikely that both Dardoch and Bjergsen aren't going to perform at a high level. I think both of these players have consistently shown that they can perform at a high level. And I don't expect any otherwise. I think it's going to be a rarity that this TSM lineup loses games because of these two circumstances of top lane collapsing and mid jungle not getting a lead. So overall, I think TSM is a dark horse. You know, everyone's pretty hyped for the Immortals roster, and of course, Team Liquid, and then Evil Geniuses, and Cloud9 even. So I think TSM could definitely break into the top four. It's just they got to put in the work, and they gotta show that they can be a cohesive unit. And the coaching staff is going to have a lot on their hands. They're going to be having to work with this shit from a day-to-day process in order to establish a team mold in which, you know, there's a good balance of a hierarchy in terms of who takes reins, you know, during certain times and whatnot. So I think this team can actually go far, and I think the team chemistry and the team style itself complements each other. So I'm looking forward to see exactly what TSM can do this season, because I think they can actually accomplish a lot, and I think they can make a berth pretty far into a playoff run for the spring split even.